Hey guys and girls, welcome to another episode of Watching Deer Antlers Grow. And I think this is episode number 7, which will be week number 7. And when we look at these deer today, if you'll just go back a week or 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, just pull you out one from the first 6 weeks and kind of look at it and look at the way these deer have changed. It's amazing. Also, one of the things we've added, we're going to show you a little video of Forrest, which is our pet deer. We've got the twins, Forrest and Jenny. Those are twin deer that their mama rejected. They were dying, and we raised both of those deer. And Jenny is a really nice, good-sized buck doe right now. And Forrest, he's got 6 points. I think he's going to turn into 8 pretty soon. Going to be a beautiful, typical deer. Keep in mind that's his first horns. So let's jump in here and we'll take a look at Whitey and Bazooka and see how they've grown. The main thing is kind of take a look at some of these deer, and then look back a couple, 2 or 3 weeks, or even go back to week number 1 when we started this. This video is every Thursday. Share it with your friends. If your friends love to deer hunt, if they love to look at giant, big bucks and watch those antlers grow, this is the place to do it, without a doubt. And hopefully we'll keep these guys alive through the summer, and they'll be out there breeding does this fall. We got some will be in the pen they can breed. Might turn 1 or 2 of these bucks loose and let them run around out there in the wild. Of course, Forrest is in the wild. He's been in the wild pretty much all his life, even though he's tame. He's been in the wild ever since we raised him from a baby. So let's go take a look at Whitey and Bazooka and see how much they've added this week. And by the way, while we're in the pens, we've got 16 babies. I hate to tell you, but 12 girls and 4 boys. I don't know what's wrong with my buck stuff. I just got to tell you. One of the things that I've noticed since we've got both the pens open on both sides, where we've gone from 4 pens to 2 pens, is that the deer seem to like the lake view. They like to get in over here on the back side, and they're up in the front some, but for the most part, there's no deer in the front. I see a little baby deer laying right over here, a couple of them laying over there in the shade. They love these little buildings. Here's a couple deer laying in the shade here, a couple little babies laying in the shade here. And you can see how big these little fawns have got. Look at those 2 little guys right there. There's only 4 babies in this pen over here, the triplets and then 1 single. And we've added another doe in here that we think's going to have some babies, but hasn't had them yet. And this pen's got quite a bit of vegetation in it, because really we didn't have hardly any deer at all in there. But those are 2 beautiful little baby fawns right there, and they just look absolutely gorgeous. And we've got a couple more laying over here. And if you'll notice, a lot of times you see that one is sitting with his head up, but a lot of them lay just like this little girl is right here. That little girl's laying with her head down. Oh, that one jumped up and took off running. But laying with her head down, because those most of the time they're just basically told to hide, and they lay just like that little girl is there. Whitey is the deer that is tagged incorrectly. He was tagged as a girl, and he ended up being a boy. And Whitey's got the tag in his left ear. He's actually the biggest of the 2. We'll walk back here and take a look at him. There's another baby. There should be 2 more babies down here in this bottom. Oh yeah, I see the other one there. Now that one young doe, that yearling doe, is just as wild as she can be, so be real careful around her. We don't want her to just get upset and run into the fence. But you take a look at these 2 deer down here, and you see how they're pretty calm, and they're not really very spooky at all. These are a couple of my buddies. I can't really hand feed these deer, although Chris did hand feed these deer a lot when they were babies. Those are 2 brothers, and you can look at their antlers are just absolutely going crazy. And Whitey, which is the back one, if you remember, he got pretty skinny after the rut last year. He got to where he just looked like he was getting down about skin and bones. I think he just chased too many girls is what happened to him. But he looks a whole lot different right now. But if you'll take a look at Whitey in particular, you see how big they are on the end. They got like balls on the end. That means on the end of his antlers, that means that they're going to spread out to more points. There'll be a whole lot more points up there. If you look right now, it looks like he's like about a 12-point deer, like 5 or 6 on each side. But those are probably going to double. And he's just going to turn into something. I don't know what he's going to turn into. I bet that they're probably going to be, they'll be the high teens or the low 20s as far as total scoreable points. and they're just beautiful, fat and healthy. They're just in great shape, and you take a look at that. That's Bazooka back there. Bazooka actually had bigger horns than Whitey, but it looks like Whitey's going to have bigger antlers this year than Bazooka. Now, we can't tell yet. They're still going. They're still going to go pretty good, but it looks like Whitey is going to really be a real champion. Now, I turned Whitey out last year. He got to run around, chase girls, and have a lot of fun outside. Probably he's going to have several little Whitey Juniors running around outside of the high fence, and probably this fall, if we can make it through the summer with them. It's difficult. We have blue tongue here, which is gnats that get up and lay eggs in their nose, and they suffocate when those eggs start growing and they can't breathe. It's a terrible, terrible deal. But it happens in the wild. It happens all over the South. It's been really, really bad in Oklahoma the last 2 or 3 years, and many places wiped out 60% of the deer herd, 60% of the deer herd. So we're hoping that doesn't happen. We spray these pens every other day all summer long. We're spraying them right now. And if you'll notice, there's not flies or gnats around, and we really work hard to try to keep those killed out. But you just can't keep it all away. And we put humic acid down on the ground, which looks like dirt. It's mined out of Wyoming. We put it down to kill the parasites and stuff in the ground and try to keep these deer healthy all summer long. But if we can make the fall with these two guys right here, this is their second horns. They're going to really be something. And you take a look over here. You take a look over there at Whitey. He's the one to the right. He's got the tag in his left ear. You look at those horns. I mean, he has got some antlers that's going to turn into maybe twice as many points as you're looking at. You're looking at probably 12 or 13 there. Might be twice that many. It's going to really be big, and the other one's going to do the same. And the babies are doing fine. We've got 16 babies. We have not lost one single baby. Knock on a 4-leaf clover or something, because it's really hard to keep the babies alive. But we've done that. We got 12 little girls, 4 little boys. In here is 2 boys and 2 girls. So half of the bucks that we have of babies are right here in this little pen right here. So let's go over and take a look at Bazooka. I mean, not Bazooka, but Bubba. Let's take a look at Bubba. Bubba, escaped. We had no drama this week. We had a very calm week here at Twin Eagle Ranch. No drama. That's exactly the way we like it. Exactly the way we like it. But Bubba was out, you remember, last week, came back. We had him by himself for a while. Didn't like it at all. We opened up and put him with a lot of other does and yearling and fawns, and he's just as happy as a speckled pup. But he's a big horned deer. Let's go look at Bubba. Hey, before we go look at Bubba, let's take a look at Forrest. Forrest and Jenny, the deer we raised from babies. Forrest is adding some impressive antlers himself. Now, he's not going to be as big as these two, but he's adding some impressive stuff. His daddy's TC, a big Oklahoma deer, and his mama's an Iowa deer. He's got about 6 now, going to have 8. Let's take a look at him real quick. Now, you look at Forrest's antlers. Well, they were only a 4-point, and now they're splitting out to a 6-point in just the last couple of days, and probably going to go on out and maybe be 8. He probably would be a typical 8. His daddy's a big typical deer, TC. And his mama is an Iowa deer, so he's going to be a real pretty, it's going to be at least a 6, we know that, but I think they may spread on out even and go into 8. I'm not sure. 10 girls and only 4 little boys in here. Both of those are little girls right there. They're beautiful little girls. Those are the youngest of all right there, those 2. Well, they may not be sisters, kind of looking at them, but those are just absolutely gorgeous. We're going to walk down here toward the shade and try to find Bubba. Bubba's got to where he really likes to stay down here in this corner. He's very easy to see from a long way out, and I'm going to come back up and put some more water in the short containers there for the babies. But these are just some absolutely incredibly giant horns or antlers that Bubba is growing. You can see him standing off down there. And he's in the shade. If we'll let him, we don't want him to run too much because it is above 90 degrees. We don't want him to run. We don't want him to run too much at all, but I do want him to get out in the sun so we can see his giant antlers, and he's going to do that. We're going to just move a little bit. You see the big drop going out that one side. Now, the left side was the side that was messed up. All of you who have been with me for the last 6 weeks know that. The right side, the left side should be just about like that right side. But both sides really, had he not messed that one side up, would look like that one side, and he would be gigantic. I'm talking well over 300 score. Sometime in the next week or two, I'll try to run through roughly how we score deer and how we determine the amount of inches of bone that they have. But he is just that one side coming out, that drop that's coming out that side, it's just incredibly large. I mean, incredibly large. And he decided he didn't want us to fool with him too much, so he's gone over to the other pen. But I don't know if he's going to get down there in the sunlight where we can see him. There he is right there. He's getting down there where we can see him a little bit. But it's a little bit difficult to tell at this distance, but he's really, really, really added a lot since last week. Well, look at the little babies down there. They're just absolutely beautiful. We got a dozen babies in this pen over here, 4 over there. We might have another 4, 5, or 6. You know, we had 5 deer get out, and we left them out to let them have their babies in the wild, because that's what it's all about anyway, is letting these deer be born in the wild. It's just a breeding program to improve the genetics here. And this is week number 7, episode number 7. Let all your buddies know about this watching deer antlers grow, because it is absolutely fascinating. It just blows me away how much horn they can put on from week to week to week. Every Thursday night, right here on Jimmy Houston Outdoors YouTube, Jimmy Houston Outdoors Facebook. Share with as many people as you can. We've got about 600,000 on Facebook, a little over 100,000 on YouTube, and just a good bunch of people having fun. And remember, I sure do love you.